Hello, everyone. It's Jennifer McCollum with Parent Coach Club, and I am here with JoBeth Evans. Hello, JoBeth.
Hey.
How are you?
I am doing excellent. Better than ever, actually. That's no lie.
Good. We had been chatting before I started recording about our lack of snow this year and how much kids aren't liking it, but we're loving it. I don't want the snow, but you have a lot of muck and mud around, don't you? So that's not good either. But anyway, JoBeth, let's get into the good stuff because people want to get to know you. If you have a teenage daughter that is about to transition from high school to college, JoBeth is the person to talk to. You are a transformational life coach and you walk teen girls through that process of going from high school to college and then getting through that first year. So tell us how you got to be a transformational life coach and what that means to our girls that are entering college.
Okay, so yes, I help girls through that period of time, and how I got to that point was initially realizing that the struggles that I had in college were not isolated to just me, that there were a lot of girls that were dealing with this. I didn't realize how many girls were struggling during not just that first year, but throughout all 4 years of college, some of them 5 years of college. And they're typically the girls that want to do and be involved in everything, which was also me. I was a athlete in college for my first 2 years. And then when I transferred to finish my junior and senior year, I was also involved in a lot. I was working. I was trying to maintain a relationship. I was going to school, taking the maximum amount of hours. I was driving to and from school to the university every like 3 or 4 days a week. And I was so stressed out. And in addition to that, like, excuse me, I was struggling financially because I was working and making that income, but then there was so much money going out with just driving and just the cost of living. I wasn't living extravagantly, but there were all these things compiled that made it a super stressful situation for me. And I found myself my senior year having an anxiety attack at the university. And I remember walking into the building, it was kind of a drab lobby looking building, and the fluorescent lights, and I walk in and I started feeling like I had ice running through my veins in my chest. And I was like, what is happening? Like I could almost like visualize this like spider web of ice going out through my chest. Then my arm started hurting and I was like, what is happening? I thought I was having a heart attack because even though there has been anxiety in my family, I wasn't recognizing it as that. And so I was like, what is happening? I'm having a heart attack. And I don't know any of these people around me. I didn't have any friends at this point after the college. And I was like, what is happening? So I sat down, collected myself, things got better. And so then I went to the doctor and got an EKG. And my doctor was like, JoBeth, you're 20 years old, or 20, I think I was 21 at the time, 21. You are healthy. You did not have a heart attack. But I'm going to do an EKG just to show you because, I want you to have proof that you did not, have a heart attack. So turns out I didn't have a heart attack and I just had an anxiety attack. And he's like, listen, we can get you on, some kind of pill that's going to take care of this for you, but you're 20. We need to try some other things. So he gave me some great advice that I took and ran with. And so I had that experience. And then now I teach for this same university that I had my anxiety attack, the same place. I teach for them now. And I have so many students that say, I have anxiety. Like when you say, tell me about you, they're like, I have anxiety. Some of them, it's anxiety, like I have this feeling in my chest. Some of them, it is like, I can't leave the house for a few days. I have that kind of anxiety. So I was like, it was then that I was like, whoa, I am not alone in this. And I also noticed that it was a trend among high achieving females, which is myself. I was like, I see so much of myself in this girl. She wants to go to the social event. She wants to go to the ball game. She wants to have a successful relationship with her boyfriend as well as her parents, and she wants to make straight A's. And she's absolutely falling apart, like right in front of my eyes. That was me. And so a lot of times we look at people, our high achieving females, like they have it all together. And from the outside, they do. I will never forget, when I was teaching, I taught public school for 5 years. And my life outside of school was falling apart. My husband and I were going through infertility. We were making some pretty huge life transitions. Things were just hard. And I was falling apart. And a girl stopped me and she was like, "You are so put together." She was like, like, "You have your stuff together. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's just cool. You just have your stuff together." I just hear her saying, you just have it together. You are so put together." And I'm like, and I'm dying on the inside. Like, but when you have high achieving females, it's important for us to look the part. And so when you look the part, you don't a lot of times get support. And I remember my mother saying to me just recently, "You don't need help." And I'm like, "But I do need help." Thinking that, not saying it, of course, because like I can't say that. But she was like, you don't need help. And I did need help, but the type of personality I am, and these girls that I coach have, is that we don't need help. We're fine. Like, we got this. Like, keep piling it on, keep bringing it on. Like, we got this. And then we're crumbling on the inside, dealing with stress and anxiety, and sometimes even to the point of it being depression. So I work with those girls. And something that I don't tell them to do is to not do certain things. I think a lot of times with parents or with a coach, they'll be like, "Okay, so you have 24 hours in a day, something has to go." And that's not effective with people, with high achieving females, because if you tell them that, they're probably going to ditch you. So I teach them how to have everything that they want. And it all starts with time management, and then it goes from there. And so those are the girls I work with. I help them level up. So whatever it is they're wanting to do, I help them get that done.
Wow. First of all, I would like to just acknowledge what you went through. That must have been terrifying when you were at school and had that panic, anxiety attack like that. It must have been terrifying for you. And not even knowing at that moment that that was going to set your path in the
Right.
future for you helping other high achieving females find their way. So I just wanted to acknowledge that sometimes we go through these very difficult situations that lead us to a great future. And what you did was you took that difficult situation, gives me goosebumps, and you're helping these women find their way in a really, really difficult time in their life. So that is amazing. And then also to be teaching at that same college, like, that is amazing. That's amazing. And to really be able to identify, hey, that was me. You're
Mm-hmm.
me, and I can help you. And
Right.
then finding a way to do that. So when you work with these young women, tell me about that. Like, what is the process? Is it usually the parents that reach out to you, or is it the student herself that reaches out to you?
I've had both reach out. Typically, it's the parent that actually moves forward with it. I have a lot of females that reach out, but they can't afford it, right? Because that's where they're at in life. They can't afford the help. So it's the parents who are the ones who are like, "Hey, I see this, you do this, then this is what, like, I can pay you to work with her." And so that is initially how it happens. But I do, because I go speak in schools, I do get students that reach out and they're like, hey, I need you. But then they're like, they're broke. They can't afford a coach. And, maybe they don't feel comfortable telling their parents either, because like I said earlier, people with my personality and the personality of these girls, they don't want anybody to know that anything is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's all good. Bring it on, right? And if I show that I need help, you may tell me to quit volleyball. You may tell me to that maybe I don't need to join a sorority, or maybe college sports aren't for me if I can't handle this in high school, or you may tell me I need to move back home. Like, I don't like whatever it is you're going to tell me if I let you know that I'm struggling. So, and obviously that depends on the relationship people have with their kids, how open they are to tell them. But I also think as parents, it's our responsibility to recognize that our child is struggling, and that can be really, really hard sometimes. So I think if I had advice to parents, which nobody asked for, but if I had advice for parents of these high achieving girls, it's to let them know that they're in the driver's seat, and that you as a parent are willing to help them do whatever it is that they're wanting to do, and that you're not going to hold them back. Because I still, to this day, like, if I feel like somebody's gonna be like, hey, you should stop doing this or that because your plate's really full, I'm not sharing with you, because I don't know what you have to say. So you want to build that relationship with your child where they feel comfortable coming to you and saying, feeling a little overwhelmed, I'm starting to have a little pain in my chest, like, what's up? Like, I need some help. You want to build that relationship with your child where they know if they come to you with something, you're not going to take away, that you're actually going to give them something valuable.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to believe I'm that parent that my kids could come to and say anything, but I feel like I would probably say the same thing. I'd probably say, you need to give something up. You need to take a break. I would probably be that parent. So, yes, I am asking for advice. When you said no one's asking for it, yes, we are all asking for it. We want your advice. We want to know what to do. Like, number one, how do we identify? So if we've got a high achieving female that wants to do everything, looks like she's got it totally together, how do we identify that she is struggling? And what do we do? So like, walk us through what I wouldn't do. Tell us what to do. What I would do is the wrong thing.
Well, okay, so I mentioned that I was having a full-blown anxiety attack, and wasn't even aware that was what was happening. So I think just having open conversations, if anxiety and depression run in your family, which I believe our parents can hand that down to us. So if that's something, you want to talk to them about what that feels like in their body beforehand. So like, it may be that you start having a lot of tension in your shoulders. You could be having, for me, it's chest pain, or pain underneath your arm, or anywhere in your chest area.
Right.
Being tired, overly emotional. I think that we expect our girls to be emotional to an extent, but if you're a parent who's in tune with your child, which you are, or you wouldn't be listening right now, you just know your child and know when behaviors change. Like I said, if she feels like she starts sleeping more, or you see any kind of change in behavior. But like I said, with these types of girls, it's going to be very mild. So you have to be really in tune. But the first thing is letting them know, like, this is what stress feels like. And it's totally okay to feel stress. Like, we all feel stress at some point. But what's not okay is feeling stress and not making any changes to cope with that. And like I said before, letting them know that whatever it is that you're struggling with, I'm here to help you. And that doesn't mean that we're going to take something away just because we know you're struggling. It's perfectly okay to struggle. Like, everybody struggles. And I think it's important to note too that, when you are a high achieving female, you struggle pretty much all the time. It's always a struggle, because when you hit a goal, or you accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish, the natural next thing to do is to set a bigger goal and to take on more. So you're constantly in the state of struggle, which is really hard on your body if you don't know what to do with it. So that would be my advice, is to teach her how to know and understand her body.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking out, if her skin starts breaking out, that's another sign that she's stressed. And like I said, it'll be different in everybody. Teaching her to know her body and to listen to her body. And if things start, if she starts having pain or any kind of uncomfortableness that she doesn't normally experience, to recognize that, hey, there's something not really quite right with my body and I need to do something. And you may not know what that is at the time, but that's why she has parents. That's why she has coaches and mentors.
That is wonderful. So that brings me to the question of if she's working with you. So what does that look like? Like right now you do one-on-one coaching, and I know you've got plans to open up a membership the end of summer. Is that right?
Yes. In August, when school starts back, the membership will open.
And that is wonderful to have someone like a big sister to walk with them through that first year. And I should back up a little bit. So that membership is for high achieving females that are going from high school to college, and just helping them through that first year, which I know can be very difficult. And and it is for everyone. This is just a difficult time to transition. Like you said, finances, we have no idea how much college really costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you think about going from under the roof of your parents to now either in residence or living alone. There's so many expenses you don't even think about. So is that one of the things that you work with now? And because you're doing one-on-one coaching right now, can you give us kind of a brief overview of what you do in the one-on-one coaching, and then maybe talk about what's going to be in the membership too,
Okay.
so we can get excited about that? Because I know we have a lot of us have girls going off into college in the fall.
Okay, so when it is one-on-one, it's obviously a much more personal, tailored experience. But initially, I will talk to the parents, and then we will talk about what that child needs. The parent would have at some point talked to the child and been like, hey, look at her. Like, you can look at my Instagram, watch, maybe some of my podcast interviews and stuff like this. It's been up because I feel like she needs to connect with me first. And if she looks at me and is like, oh, I hate that girl, then maybe we're not a good fit. But she needs to have some exposure to me in another context. And then the parent's like, okay, would you like her to help you? And then if she says yes after that call with the parent, then we jump into our coaching. And so for some people, they want a 30-minute 2 times a week session, because an hour is a lot. It is heavy, and it's a lot, and it's a lot to think about, and it can be overwhelming. So sometimes students want to do 30 minutes and 30 minutes. Sometimes they want to do an hour and just really knock a bunch of stuff out. I work with my clients for 3 months at a time. So you have to sign on for 3 months of coaching once a week for an hour. So whether that's 2 30-minute sessions or just 1 hour. And in those sessions, it does not matter what the parent tells me and previous to this, because I'm not jumping in and being like, so your mom says you're really stressed out, and you're hateful, and you're cranky, and you all these yous. We don't do that. I ask her how I can serve her in what areas of her life she feels like she needs improvement in. Excuse me, because then she is invested in what we're talking about. And eventually we're going to get to that. Because if she's stressed out, it's good to know she's stressed out, but she may not know what's stressing her out. So for myself, life stresses me out just in general. And it's in my DNA. I believe that it is part of my DNA that I feel that. But what's not in my DNA is the mentality that there's nothing I can do about it. So I will talk to her and be like, oh, okay, so you're starting to feel really stressed out on the weekends. You start to feel things in your body on the weekends. Are you working out on the weekends? Well, no, because we don't have, we don't have volleyball, we don't have basketball or whatever on the weekends, we don't have track. So that's when you're feeling stress in your body, is when you don't have that exercise to relieve it. Like, would you think, like, do you think that's true? And if she's like, yeah, like I can see that connection there. Another thing is, we're going to talk possibly about diet. A lot of females don't respond very well to carbs, like a lot of carbs. They can alter the way we feel. We also want carbs when we are, during certain times of the month, we want carbs. And so I'm not saying carbs are bad. I eat carbs, but there's things like gluten and dairy that cause our bodies to not be able to function the way that we want them to. Not everybody's allergic to gluten. Not everybody's allergic to dairy, but because we all react differently, I'm going to teach her how to pay attention. So maybe her anxiety or her stress or whatever is manifesting as stomach issues. There's things we can do, but I'm going to teach her how to know her body. I'm going to teach her how, if she's feeling overwhelmed by her schedule, I'm going to show her her schedule. We're going to actually see how much time she's wasting in her day, because she's probably wasting a lot of time. And because she's wasting time, she's feeling stressed out, because when you waste time, you don't have that time later. So I usually start with time management, is typically where we start, because they're like, I don't have time to get a job. I don't have time to relax. I don't have time to go out with my friends. Or here's a very common thing. I don't have time to go out with my friends, but I'm going to go anyways. And so I may have a huge test tomorrow, but after I had lunch with my friends today and we made plans for tonight, now I don't have time to study. But I'm going to go to the party and I'm going to be miserable and be thinking about how I need to be home studying. And then I'm going to stay up late tonight studying, and then I'm going to fall asleep and I'm going to wake up and fail my test because I didn't study. So I teach them how to socialize, how to do everything, and how to be self-disciplined. Because if you're going to be a high-achieving female, you cannot lack self-discipline. So that's where we start, but it's tailored to each specific young lady, because we have to look at what's important to them. Because like I said, I work with women who are like myself, and I know me, and I know them, and I see them when they come. I can identify them so quick when they come through my classes. But that's where we start with the one-on-one. The group coaching is gold. It is everything that's not out there that these girls need. Every college has resources. Let me be clear. They have counseling departments. They have hotline numbers. They have on-call, whatever you can get, group counseling. They have all that. But we're working with a unique creature here who is most likely not going to walk into a counseling office. And because, again, that signals I'm not okay. And I think it's important to note that this group membership that we're doing, is for high achieving females, to help them, give them the building blocks that they need, the stepping stones that they need to achieve whatever it is that they're wanting to achieve. They're not in this because they have issues. Okay, that's not why you get in this program. It is for you to make sure that all these goals that you're wanting to hit actually get hit and accomplished, and you feel good doing it. That's the big part. You feel good. It feels good. You enjoy the journey. There are times when students need counseling. If they need counseling, that's not who the membership is for. And I think that's very important. It is not a replacement for counseling, because coaching is not counseling. And most of the people listening to this already know that. But if they are like super, super struggling with a lot of mental health issues, then counseling is a better option. But if they're like super stressed out because they just can't get to where they want to be, that's when they get in this membership. In the membership, we are going to do 4 15-minute coaching calls a month. So they will have access to those. Q&A is so important, because there are situations where, for example, let's say there is a girl who is in college and her boyfriend start being sexually active. And she is not comfortable talking to anybody about it because, you know, she may have a reputation that that would be against her reputation, and she can't tell her parents because then she might die. So like, you know, she doesn't feel like she can do anything. So she doesn't know where to go to get birth control. She doesn't know what it means to have safe sex, because the internet and YouTube are not good educators. Okay. Like, you need somebody to talk to you, because there are situations where you can get really sick if you don't know what to do. So there will be an opportunity for them to say, hey, like, I'm dealing with this. What should I do? And then I will, you know, from there be like, here are some great options for you to do. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that where you go if you do need certain help. So I can guide them in that. And this, excuse me, this membership is not about excluding parents from their kids' lives. It's about giving them a safe place to ask big questions and to explore who they are, what their difficulties and challenges are, and to rise above those. Something that's also really important that will be in this membership, we do talk about finances, because like, that's life. We have to know what to do with our finances. And so there will be expert interviews as well each month with people who are considered experts in the field of whatever theme we have for that month, whether it's finances, mental health, physical health, whatever. We will have expert interviews there for them to see as well. But something we talk about in this is relationships, because our parents are the reason most of us are where we're at. The things that they have done for us, especially at this level, and if they're in the membership, because again, the parents are going to be the ones who are funding this. So their parents are crucial in their life. They have been instrumental in helping them get to where they're at. That relationship gets really, really hard in college, because you go from seeing mom and dad every day, talking to them, to possibly not talking to them all week. And grandparents also a lot of times get forgotten when kids go to college. And so how do I do all these things and still let grandma know I care and I love her and I have not forgotten about her? So how do we do all this in conjunction with all the other things that they're doing as high achieving females? So we go through that, teach them how to have relationships, how to do the minimal things that to maintain these relationships, whether it be a call, a text, and reminding them, hey, haven't seen your grandma in a month. What do you feel like you would do? If grandma passed away tomorrow, which we don't want to talk about, but my grandpa died when I was in college. And it's kind of a time where that stuff happens. I see it happening a lot where kids, my students' grandparents die while they're in college. And it turns their world upside down. The reason it turns their world upside down a lot of times is because they went to college and forgot grandma. They forgot grandpa while they were in college. So then they pass away and they have so much regret. And that's something that I'm big on, is no regrets. Like, let's live our life. I don't care if you're 70 or 7. Let's live without regrets. And that doesn't mean that you went out and lived your life that's all about you doing what you want to do to make you feel good. Like, life is not about that. Life is about showing up, and showing up for the people that you love as well as yourself. I'm all about showing up for yourself, but let's not forget the people who helped you to be who you are just because you're in college. And I see that happening a lot. I don't like it. And my grandpa passed away and it was really hard, but I had went and seen him like at least once a week, maybe multiple times a week leading up to his passing. And so that's what I want for them, to be able to go through college, live it, enjoy it, and do it with no regrets. And part of having no regrets is being educated and having somebody to call you out and be like, listen, you have been staying out and drinking 3 nights a week, and that's not really in alignment with your goals. So is it your goal to be a beer pong champion or to have a bachelor's degree? Like, what is it that you're wanting? And really just calling them out on that if they need that. Another cool thing about the membership is that they're in a group with other high achieving females. So they can hear like, oh, she struggles with that. So do I. Like, I'm not alone in this. Like when I had my anxiety attack at school, I thought I was the only person on this 20,000 person campus who was feeling that way. And when you're in this group, be like, dang, there's other people that are feeling the exact same way that I'm feeling. And I'm not alone in it. I don't have to be ashamed about it. I don't have to give anything up. I can just know that it's there and deal with it. That's what I want for these girls.
Well, thank you so much, JoBeth. Like, I see what you're doing is you're setting these women up for a brilliant future, because there are so many women that struggle with all of these things later on in life. Mm-hmm. And by then they've got married, had kids, and like everything else piled on top, and they don't remember who they are. They haven't got a handle on their finances, their mental health, their time management. All of these tools that you give them at this early stage could really transform an entire generation. Mm-hmm. So thank you for what you do. I think it's beautiful, and I can't wait for this membership to be open.
Yes, I'm so excited because it's everything I needed. It's everything I needed. And I don't say I because it's about me, but it's about me taking something that was a hindrance, that was holding me back, and being like, listen, you don't have to be held back. I've figured this out. And like you said, like as an adult, if you can't handle high school, wait till you have a husband, a kid, and a job, and then let's see how you can handle your anxiety, because you ain't seen nothing yet in college. Like it's coming for you, girl. Like it's coming. But if you get a hold of it now and you figure it out, the rest of it's pretty easy. You know, we're kind of in a time in, at least in the United States, there's this big mommy needs a drink. Mommy needs a drink, meaning like mommy needs some alcohol, you know? It's not healthy. I know it's a joke, and a lot of women say it, and a lot of women say that don't drink, but we are at kind of a point in time where women are drinking at night, because they can't handle what's going on during the day. So, we can avoid them ever feeling like mommy needs a drink, because you don't want to have to feel that way.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so and backing up just a tiny bit too, I really think all in your marketing needs to be like, I can help your daughter stay connected to you while she's off at college. I like that. Like, oh, you're going to call me every week? Okay, well, we're going to sign you up for some coaching with JoBeth. I like that. But I see that as a good marketing ploy to interest the parents. If they don't realize their daughter's struggling, that's a huge benefit too. And the connection, because everything I feel is layered on that connection. You keep connected to the people that are important to you. You keep connected to the things that are important to you, and everything else gets better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously I created it, so I'm a little biased, but I think it's so wonderful, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the girls that don't have to struggle because there's help. That's what I'm excited for. It's going to be so good.
That's great. And until then, if you want to work with JoBeth, you do the one-on-one coaching. So parents can find you, parents and teens going off to college, university, can find you on the Parent Coach website, but also JoBethEvans.com, right?
Yep. Right.
They can connect with you. You've got a couple awesome quizzes. The student can take the quiz or the parent can take the quiz. So I love that. And just check out, JoBeth's blog and all of the good work that you put out there to get to know you. But I think this has really helped. Our time together has really helped really share what you do, how parents and students can find you and work with you, and the value. I hope we really relayed the value, because to me it sounds like you are really setting these women up for a bright future. So thank you for all you do. Thank you for
Thank you
being
for.
here. And I hope you come back and share more goodness with us.
Yes, absolutely. I'll come back anytime you ask me.
That is great. So I'm going to put below this video a link to how you can find JoBeth if you want to connect with her some more. So thank you so much, JoBeth. We'll see you again.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, goodbye.